Oh, when I got here in 1980, math and computer science was one department offering two majors, a major in math and a major in computer science. And the computer science major had just been approved the year I arrived. It was, and I proposed a new course for that major, and the consultant who was evaluating the major said that should be a required course in the major. And so things evolved from there. But it was a much smaller group than we have now. We occupied maybe an eighth of the total office space that we now have. We've grown a lot since then. About 7 or 8 years after I came here, the department split into two departments, one for math and one for computer science, and I was the founding chair of computer science. Now we have hundreds of computer science majors, and we now offer graduate degrees, more than one graduate degrees in computer science, and we have a lot of graduate students coming in. And there is talk now of a doctoral program in computer science as well. Things have changed quite a bit as far as curriculum goes in computer science. When I first came here, we had an advanced level course for seniors majoring in computer science, and they learned how to use a spreadsheet and a word processor, which were these exciting new applications that no one knew anything about. And so that's been kind of a trend in computer science. Things kind of trickle down over the years, and things that are new today, some years from now, will be pretty much assumed as basic skills. Science, we have programming contests, and our students get involved in programming contests. And I remember the first such contest, I was the advisor for our 4 students, and I even got them T-shirts that said Glassboro State College on them, and we traveled down to, I guess it was the University of Delaware, and they did quite well there. And since then, I've gotten involved with a few trips. When I started teaching cryptography, I would organize a trip every other year to the National Cryptologic Museum, and I would have to get training to drive one of the SGA vans and drive a bunch of students down to the museum, which is in Fort Meade, Maryland. It's right outside the NSA. And that was an interesting trip back then, because back then, few people had ever heard of the NSA, although it was bigger than the FBI and the CIA combined. The NSA was kind of hush-hush. But we would go down there, and to get to the museum, we would drive past the fences with barbed wire and sentries with machine guns, and drive right past them, past the NSA to the museum. And at the museum, we would get a guided tour, and then a representative from the NSA would come over and talk to the students about working at the NSA, and give them a hint as to what it's like to work there, because they were a big employer. So that was always an interesting trip. And as time went on, the problem was not finding jobs for students. The problem became keeping the students in school when they got job offers as sophomores to go work full-time for a company. And so we tried to encourage them, stay in school, get your degree, don't worry about a starting salary, the jobs will be there. And so that's in computer science, that's been the problem over the years. Another problem that we had to deal with was students would choose a major in computer science because someone would tell them that's how you get a job, when they really had no interest or aptitude for that area. And we would try to get them in a better major as early as possible, and students were then happier with a different major. And my feeling was, once you get a degree, the jobs will be there regardless of what field you're in. I live in Glassboro on the ridge. I walk or ride my bike into work every day. We have I don't have a car, so I walk. My wife actually has two cars. She lets me drive one of them every now and then, but I don't need a car. I just walk or ride my bike, and I ride my bike around town to get around town, and mainly because I think what a beautiful community this would be if everyone walked or rode their bikes, but I don't think that's going to happen. Well, of course, Rowan Boulevard was not here at the time, and some residents of the town resented college students coming in, sometimes partying. I never had a problem with it. Where I live on the ridge, there were occasionally parties, but they were pretty mild, and there was no disruption of any kind. When Rowan Boulevard was put in, I think things improved a lot. I think most people enjoy visiting Rowan Boulevard, whether they're affiliated with the university or not. But I think Rowan Boulevard was a huge success in terms of establishing good relations between the town and the university. One problem that this campus has had over the years, we have a U.S. highway coming straight through the middle of our campus, and a lot of us thought this is potentially dangerous. We have students crossing this Route 322 all the time. I think it was Don Farish who finally got them to put in blinking lights and safer pedestrian crosswalks there. But for a long time, there was nothing for pedestrians, and cars would just come straight through, and you had to watch out. Okay, so we were Glassboro State College, and Henry Rowan, an MIT engineer, decided to give us $100 million to put in a college of engineering. And at the time, I heard this rumor from my secretary in the computer science department. She said, we're changing the name of the university. I said, are you kidding? What are you talking about? But she was right. She heard through the grapevine somehow. And my thinking was, well, they're changing the name of the university, but people have always known this place as Glassboro State College. They're not going to start calling it Rowan University overnight. Well, what happened was at the first football game in the fall, the football players came out with uniforms that said Rowan. And these pictures showed up in the sports pages of the local newspapers, Rowan, and everyone started calling it Rowan University. It happened like that.